I saw the shape move away from the door glass the instant my hand touched the porch railing. Just a blur of motion, like they'd been standing right there, watching me walk up the driveway. The package was one of those small bubble mailers, address label printed in that standard Amazon font. And through the frosted glass panel, I could see the shadow retreat deeper into the house. I knocked anyway, waited the standard 30 seconds, then left it by the door, and marked it delivered on my scanner. But I'm getting ahead of myself. My name's Ryan, I'm 29, and I've been driving for Amazon out of the Renton facility for about 2 years now. My route covers the eastern suburbs of Seattle, mostly Issaquah, Sammamish, that whole area where the newer developments blend into older neighborhoods, with big yards and trees that haven't been trimmed in a decade. It's a decent gig, pays okay, and most days I can finish early if I hustle. The route algorithm knows my habits by now, optimizes based on how fast I move, which driveways I can turn around in. I've delivered to the same houses enough times that I recognize people's cars, their dogs, the way certain customers always leave specific instructions about where to hide packages. That Tuesday started normal. I had 163 stops loaded into my van, the usual mix of those brown Amazon boxes and the occasional oversized item that makes you hate your life. Weather was that specific Seattle gray, where you can't tell if it's going to rain or just threaten to all day. The route took me through my regular neighborhoods first, then started pushing me toward the edges where things get more spread out. Bigger lots, houses set back from the road, the kind of places where you can't see your neighbor's windows from yours. The first delivery to 4782 Maple Ridge Court was around 10:15 a.m. Small package, maybe 8 by 6 inches, addressed to a Michael Voss. The house was a split level, built probably in the 80s. White siding that needed a pressure wash. Detached garage with the door closed. Lawn was mowed, but not recently. Nothing that screamed wrong exactly, but nothing that screamed right either. Just a house. I pulled into the driveway, grabbed the package, walked up to the front door. That's when I saw the movement through the glass. The door had one of those rectangular frosted panels, the kind where you can see shapes and movement but not details. And the shape I saw was person-sized, maybe 5 feet from the door, just standing there. The second my foot hit the first porch step, they moved, not toward the door like someone coming to answer, but away, backing into the house fast enough that I could track the shadow receding. I knocked, rang the doorbell twice. The button lit up. I could hear the chime inside, one of those digital ones that plays a little melody. Nothing. No footsteps. No voice calling out, "Just a minute." Nothing. I set the package down, took the photo for delivery confirmation, and walked back to my van. The whole time I had this feeling, you know the one, where you're pretty sure someone's watching you but you can't prove it. I didn't look back at the house, just got in the van, marked it delivered, and moved on to the next stop. 45 minutes later, I was 12 houses down my route when my scanner beeped with a priority addition. New package, marked urgent, needed to be delivered ASAP. I pulled over to check the details. Same address, 4782 Maple Ridge Court. Different sender. This one was from some company in Ohio I'd never heard of, but same recipient name. Michael Voss. I remember sitting there in the van, engine running, looking at the scanner. It wasn't that weird for someone to get multiple deliveries in one day, especially if they'd ordered a bunch of stuff with different shipping speeds. But something about going back to that house, made my shoulders tense up. The way that person had moved away from the door, like they'd been standing there waiting for me specifically, then changed their mind the moment I showed up. I drove back. The first package was still on the porch where I'd left it, exactly where I'd positioned it against the wall by the door. This new one was bigger, maybe shoebox-sized, also marked urgent in red letters across the shipping label. I did the same routine, walked up, knocked, rang the bell, waited, took the photo, left it next to the first one. This time I looked at the window to the left of the door, the one that would have been the living room. The curtains were drawn, that heavy beige fabric that comes standard in rental properties, but there was maybe a 2-inch gap where they didn't quite meet in the middle. I couldn't see anything through it, just darkness. Back in the van, I continued my route, hit a cul-de-sac in Sammamish, delivered to a house where the guy answered the door in a Seahawks jersey and actually thanked me by name because he'd seen it on my vest. Dropped off a case of dog food at a place where 2 golden retrievers barked at me through the fence, tails wagging. Normal stuff, good stuff, honestly. The kind of interactions that make the job not suck. Then my scanner beeped again. 1:30 p.m. Same address, 3rd package. Sender from California this time. Some tech company. Michael Voss. Urgent. You've got to be fucking kidding me, I said out loud to no one. I was sitting in the van outside a Starbucks, engine idling, staring at the scanner like it had personally insulted me. 3 deliveries to the same house in one day wasn't unheard of, but 3 urgent ones? That was weird. The urgent tag usually means someone paid extra for same day, or they're a Prime member getting something time-sensitive. Medical supplies, birthday presents, that kind of thing. But 3 of them? I called my supervisor, got his voicemail, left a message. Hey, it's Ryan. I've got a situation on my route. Can you call me back? Then I drove back to Maple Ridge Court for the 3rd time. Both previous packages were still on the porch. That's what I noticed first. Most people, if they're home and they hear a delivery, they grab it within an hour. These had been sitting for 3 hours and 90 minutes respectively. The new package was another small one, maybe DVD-sized. I walked up slower this time, trying to be quiet on the porch boards. Don't know why, just felt like I should. I set the package down without knocking, just placed it, took the photo, turned to leave. And that's when I heard it, the sound of the deadbolt turning from inside. I froze on the second porch step, one hand on the railing. The deadbolt made that specific metal-on-metal sound, the click of it sliding back. Then nothing. The door didn't open. No one said anything. I waited for maybe 15 seconds, which feels like forever when you're standing on someone's porch, listening to your own heartbeat in your ears. Then I finished walking to the van, got in, and sat there for a minute with my hands on the steering wheel. They were shaking a little bit. I don't know why that got to me so much. It was just a deadbolt. But the silence after the click, that was what stuck in my head. I drove away, finished the next section of my route. At 3:45 p.m., my scanner beeped. Same address, 4th package. This time I did call my supervisor back, got him on the line. Dude, I've got 4 deliveries to the same house today, all marked urgent, and something's off about this place. Off how? His name was Marcus. He'd been with Amazon for 6 years. Nothing fazed him. I don't know, just nobody's answering the door, but someone's definitely home. And they unlocked the door earlier but didn't open it. Just unlocked it and left it closed. They probably just stepped away from the door.
Maybe they're disabled or something, can't get around fast. Marcus sounded like he was eating something crunchy. Just deliver it, man. If they keep ordering, keep dropping them off. That's the job. Yeah, okay. You good? Yeah, I'm good. I wasn't good, but I drove back to the house anyway. 4 packages on the porch now, arranged in a neat line where I'd left them. The newest one was bigger, about the size of a small microwave, and heavy enough that I had to use both hands. The label said it was from a warehouse in Nevada. I didn't knock this time, just left it with the others and walked back to the van at a normal pace, like a normal person doing a normal job. The 5th package came at 4:50 p.m., the 6th at 5:30, the 7th at 6:05, right when I was supposed to be finishing my shift. Each time my scanner would beep, and each time it was the same address with that same name. Michael Voss. Different senders, different package sizes, all marked urgent. I stopped calling Marcus, just kept going back. By the 7th delivery, I developed a routine. Pull up, grab the package, walk to the porch without looking at the windows, add it to the growing pile, take the photo, leave. The pile was getting ridiculous. 7 packages of various sizes, stacked and arranged on a porch that was maybe 6 feet wide. Some were small enough to hold in one hand, others required 2. None of them had been moved. And here's the thing that started bothering me around delivery number 8. The house looked completely normal. Lights were on inside by then. It was getting dark out, and through the gaps in the curtains I could see the yellow glow of lamps or overhead fixtures. The kind of light that says someone lives there, someone's home, everything's fine. But those packages just sat there. Package 9 arrived at 7:15 p.m. I was officially off shift by then, but the scanner kept routing them to me. Probably because I was already in the area and the system knew it. This one was another small bubble mailer, maybe had a book in it or some flat electronics. I was almost at the porch when I realized I could hear something from inside the house. Not voices, not music, just this low, repetitive sound. Like someone moving boxes, the scrape and shuffle of cardboard on a hard floor. I froze with the package in my hand, standing in the driveway about 10 feet from the porch. The sound continued for maybe 20 seconds, then stopped. Complete silence. Not even the hum of a refrigerator or the distant sound of a TV. Just nothing. I walked up, added the package to the pile, 9 now, Jesus Christ, and got the hell out of there. My scanner beeped twice more before I made it back to the warehouse. Packages 10 and 11, both to Maple Ridge Court, both urgent, both with my name on the routing assignment. I sat in the parking lot of a 7-Eleven, staring at the scanner, trying to decide if I was going to go back or just mark them as undeliverable and deal with Marcus's questions tomorrow. My shift had ended 2 hours ago. I was hungry, I needed a piss, and I really didn't want to go back to that house. But I went back, picked up both packages from the depot. They were waiting at the loading dock, tagged with my route number, and drove back to Maple Ridge Court for the 10th and 11th time. It was full dark by then, almost 9 p.m., and the neighborhood had that empty feeling suburbs get after everyone's gone inside for the night. No cars on the road, no dog walkers, no kids on bikes, just porch lights and the blue glow of TVs through windows. The house at 4782 had every light on inside. I could see it from the street. Windows on both floors lit up bright, like someone was having a party or doing spring cleaning at 9 o'clock at night. The pile of packages on the porch looked surreal in that light. This tower of cardboard and bubble wrap that hadn't been there this morning. 11 packages. I carried 12 and 13 in my arms, one stacked on the other, and added them to the pile. That's when I looked through the living room window. The curtains were open now, just pulled back fully on both sides, like someone had yanked them aside and left them. And what I saw made me stand there on the porch, packages in hand, mouth open, brain trying to process what the fuck I was looking at. The living room floor was covered in Amazon boxes. Not just a few, hundreds of them, wall to wall, stacked in some places to waist height, in other places torn open with packing material spilling out. That brown cardboard and the white and blue prime tape everywhere, like someone had been receiving deliveries for months and never thrown anything away. Some boxes still had shipping labels visible, most didn't. It was just a sea of cardboard. And in the far corner of the room, visible through the window, there was a person, sitting in a chair, facing the wall, completely still. Back to the window, back to the door, back to the room full of boxes. Just sitting there in a straight-backed chair, maybe 3 feet from the wall, staring at it. I couldn't see their face, couldn't see what they were wearing, couldn't see anything except the back of their head and their shoulders, and the way they were sitting with perfect posture, like they were waiting for something. I don't know how long I stood there. Long enough for my hands to start hurting from holding the packages. Long enough for the motion sensor on the porch light to click off, then click back on when I finally moved. I set the packages down very carefully, very quietly, and backed away from the window. The person in the chair didn't move, didn't turn around, didn't acknowledge me at all. I took the photo with my scanner, the flash going off bright in the darkness, and the person still didn't move. When I got back to my van, my hands were shaking bad enough that I dropped my keys twice before getting the door open. I sat in the driver's seat, engine running, looking at that house with all its lights on, and that person sitting in the chair facing the wall, and I couldn't make it make sense. The boxes on the floor, the packages on the porch, the fact that someone was in there and had been in there all day, receiving delivery after delivery after delivery without ever answering the door. My scanner beeped. Package 14, same address. Urgent. No, I said out loud. Fuck no. I called Marcus. It rang 6 times before he picked up, and I could hear voices in the background, the sound of a TV or maybe a bar. Ryan? Jesus, man, you're still out? I need you to listen to me, I said. My voice sounded weird, too high. Something is really wrong at 4782 Maple Ridge Court. I've delivered 14 packages there today, all marked urgent, and there's someone inside, but they won't answer the door, and the entire living room is full of Amazon boxes, like hundreds of them. And there's a person just sitting there, staring at the wall. Whoa, slow down. You looked in the window? The curtains were open. I was just dropping off the package and I saw... Okay, first of all, you can't look in people's windows. That's Marcus. I'm telling you, something is fucked up here. This isn't normal. There was a pause. I could hear him breathing. Could hear someone in the background laughing at something on TV. Did you deliver all 14 packages? 13. Number 14 is still at the depot. Okay, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go home, clock out, and I'll have someone else swing by tomorrow to grab that last one. Maybe even reassign the address to a different route if it makes you uncomfortable. You're not hearing me. I am hearing you, Ryan. I hear you. But what do you want me to do? Call the cops because someone has a lot of Amazon packages? That's not a crime. Some people are hoarders. Some people are weird. That's not our problem as long as we deliver the shit and don't get bitten by dogs. There was a person sitting in a chair facing the wall, I said. Just sitting there, not moving. Maybe they're meditating. Maybe they're a weirdo. Ryan, seriously, go home. Get some food, get some sleep. This job makes you see weird shit sometimes, but that doesn't mean it's our business. He hung up before I could argue. I sat there in the van, in the dark, with the engine running and the heater blowing cold air because it hadn't warmed up yet. Looked at my scanner. Package 14 was still showing as assigned to me, waiting at the depot. I could go pick it up, could deliver it, could add it to the pile and see if the person in the chair had moved. Instead, I drove to the depot, clocked out, and went home. Took a shower that lasted 40 minutes because I couldn't get warm. Tried to eat leftover pizza, but it tasted like cardboard. Went to bed around midnight and didn't sleep for shit. Kept seeing that person in the chair, that perfect posture, that absolute stillness. Kept thinking about the sound of the deadbolt turning earlier in the day and the door that never opened. I called in sick the next morning. Told Marcus I had food poisoning, which he didn't question because everyone gets food poisoning eventually when you eat as much drive-through as we do. Spent the day on my couch watching TV without really watching it, checking my phone every 20 minutes for reasons I couldn't explain. Around 3 p.m., Marcus called me. "Hey man, cops went by that address you were worried about." I sat up straight. And nothing. House is empty, no one home.
They knocked, looked in the windows. Place is clean. No boxes, no person in a chair, nothing. Whoever lived there must have moved out or something. That's impossible. I know what you said you saw, but the cops checked it out, and there's nothing there. Maybe it was a different house? It wasn't a different house, Marcus. I've been delivering to the same address all day. 4782 Maple Ridge Court. I'm just telling you what they told me. House is empty. He paused. You sure you're okay? Like, actually okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I hung up and opened the Amazon Driver app on my phone, logged into my delivery history, scrolled back to yesterday, found Maple Ridge Court, found all 14 packages I delivered, clicked on each one to see the delivery confirmation photos. Every single photo showed the packages on the porch, timestamps running from 10:15 a.m. to 9:43 p.m. 14 deliveries, all confirmed, and every single one had a status notation I hadn't seen before. Received in person. Not left at door, or handed to resident, or left in secure location. Received in person. All 14. Someone had signed for them electronically, confirmed receipt, marked them as personally received. There was even a digital signature on file for each one. Just a scribble, impossible to read, but there. Time-stamped within 5 minutes of each delivery photo. I zoomed in on the photos, one after another, looking at the pile of packages growing on that porch. In the background of the 7th photo, taken at 6:05 p.m., you could just barely see the edge of the living room window. And through that window, if you looked close enough, you could see boxes. Just a glimpse, just enough to confirm I hadn't imagined it. But according to the police, the house was empty. According to Marcus, there was nothing there.
According to the delivery confirmations, someone had personally received every single package. I still drive for Amazon.
Still have the same route, same neighborhoods. I've been past 4782 Maple Ridge Court maybe half a dozen times since then. The house looks normal. Curtains closed, lawn getting a little overgrown, no cars in the driveway, no lights on at night, no packages on the porch. A couple weeks after all this happened, I saw a for sale sign go up in the yard. It's still there. I've never gotten another delivery for that address. Never seen the name Michael Voss on a package label. The house just sits there, empty, for sale, like nothing ever happened. But sometimes, when I'm sitting in my van between deliveries, eating a sandwich or checking my phone, my scanner will beep with a new route addition. And for just a second, before I look at the screen, my hands go cold and my stomach drops, because I'm convinced it's going to be that address again. It never is, but I still think about it, about those 14 packages that someone received in person, according to the database, about the person in the chair, facing the wall, surrounded by hundreds of boxes, in a room the police said was empty. I still don't know who signed for those packages. And I really don't think I want to find out.